Hey guys, it's me, SAS2 here, and today we are doing, for the first time on the channel, a mod review of the Orespawn mod. So what we're doing here is we've got 3 chests, and we're going over the categories of weapons and armour. So, going straight into this, we can see there's quite a few weapons, but the first one we have is called the Ultimate Sword. It's quite powerful, it being 46.25 attack damage. Obviously, sharpness, smite, bane of arthropods, knockback, looting, unbreaking, and fire aspect. It's pretty powerful. And also, guys, I expect you're wondering what this spawn egg is in my hand. And that spawns an iron golem. So when you left click this, pretty insane knockback, and then left click again. So it's a 2-shot basically. So that is all the Ultimate Sword really does. It's pretty OP though. So then we're on to the Nightmare Sword. This thing I like, but it's not extremely good. So what we've got is we've got our iron golem, and then you left click him. Does a tiny bit of damage, but it's still not killing him. So it's not super strong. It's about 4 or 5 hits. So then we're going to go on to the other one, and this is the next sword. This is called the Big Bertha. And as you can see, it's pretty powerful with 500 attack damage, knockback 5, and the bane of arthropods 1. So if we spawn this in, and then we left click the iron golem, he's 1-shot, but you can see this absolutely insane knockback, especially if you're jump critting him. So that is going to be it for the Big Bertha. This is a really powerful weapon, and next thing we're doing is the Attitude Adjuster. This thing does 86 attack damage, but also, wherever you left click, it does a ground pound, or like a ground smash. So you can also hold right click, and if we go into F5, this thing is pretty big. So, it also looks pretty sick as well, so wherever you left click, you create an explosion. Very handy if you need to destroy mobs quickly. So you can see that just 1-shot a creeper. And then, if we were to do it on an iron golem, sends him flying, doesn't completely kill him, but it's a 2-shot. Obviously the explosion is doing more damage as well, and I'm not going to hold that because I've made a mistake where it actually blows up the chest. Then we've got this thing called the Slice. It's like the Big Bertha, where it's also just as big, where this is the Big Bertha, and then this is the Slice. 500 attack damage again, and if we spawn in the iron golem and left click, 1-shot and the insane knockback. It's basically the replica of the Big Bertha, just called something different. So if we just pop these back, the next thing we're going on to is the Royal Guardian Sword. This is the most powerful sword in the mod, with a shocking 750 attack damage, with unbreaking 5. So it also has a really good range. So you see this spider over here. The range on it is pretty decent, but I can hit them from here. So this skeleton, out of range, normally. And then anything else can be easily killed. So that is the Royal Guardian Sword. There is some armour for this, which I'll show you in this after we've done the weapons. And it was absolutely amazing that it's 750 attack damage. So obviously, it does have knockback, even though it doesn't say it does. So it isn't absolutely insane. The next thing is the Battle Axe, which I really like this weapon. It's really powerful, and it's also really big. With 50 attack damage, it's a great sword if you can find it, just for a starter. And then if we left click the iron golem, he's taking a bit of damage, but I think he took a bit of damage. So we'll respawn him. So it's 1-2-shot to kill the iron golem. So that is the Battle Axe. Pretty insane. Next thing, we've got the Queen Scale Battle Axe. 672 attack damage. I believe this is the second most powerful weapon in the game. Iron golem, left one shot. So the iron golem spawned in. It's got decent range, not great, but you're not really going to have any trouble with mobs if you're going to be using this weapon. So then moving on, we now have the chainsaw. 60 attack damage. This thing is absolutely sick. You can run around. It's got pretty good range as well, so you can also hear that sound effect as well. always makes that sound effect. So that's something to bear in mind. And also, guys, bear in mind that iron golems have 100 health each. So they're pretty powerful. Next thing, I'm going to go through these very quickly. We have the emerald, the rose, and the experience sword. Experience sword, whilst you're wearing the particular armour, you get experience. The rose sword doesn't do anything, it just looks good. But it doesn't even one-shot a zombie, so if you were to try and kill an iron golem, you're going to be here all day. It's going to take a while, but the emerald sword, however, is slightly more powerful than a diamond sword, because if you go diamond sword, that does 7 attack damage, and these do 10 attack damage. I'm not going to bother putting them up against an iron golem, seeing as we know they're not especially strong, so no point in that. But that's the rose experience and the emerald sword. So next thing is the poison sword, the rat sword, and the fairy sword. Poison sword doesn't really do much, except when you left click, when you attack your mob, it poisons them. That's it. So if you've got a really powerful mob, such as the iron golem, it's going to poison him, and that's it. There's nothing else to it. Next thing we've got is the rat sword. Whenever you attack any mob with the rat sword, it spawns in several rats that are going to run around and attack absolutely everything. So I'm actually going to get an attitude adjuster when I find it. Attitude adjuster. Just to actually... Where'd they go? Just to kill this last rat. So whenever you go around, you left click a mob and the rat sword spawns in a rat. Same goes for the fairy sword, except it spawns in some fairies, which will attack any mob you order them to. So you have complete control over them, unlike the rat sword. They only attack certain mobs though. And they spawn from mobs also. So if we yeah, we'll kill these really quick. Damage potions. Get rid of all these fairies. Stupid fairies. Won't take long now, hope. They also do teleport to you, which is very nice. They're a very good companion, except they get really irritating sometimes. Right, so we'll leave those. We'll leave these 3. They can survive, unless they die to the damage potions now. Which it seems like they might be doing. Yeah, so we'll leave that for now. So that is the fairy sword, the rat sword, and the poison sword. Then the next things we have is the mantis claw. You get this from killing a large mob, which I won't be spawning in, but it's 10 attack damage, and it's quite a few hits to kill an iron golem. And that is all. It looks okay in your sword, but in your arm, in your hand, but it isn't absolutely great. So moving on, we've then got the big hammer, the crystal wood sword, the pink tourmalia sword, tiger eye sword, kyanite sword, I think I've said that right, ruby and amethyst sword. So these are all pretty boring. They do a certain amount of attack damage, like amethyst and ruby are more powerful than diamonds, so you're going to want to have these, and all the armour is more powerful than diamonds as well. So 15 attack damage for the amethyst, ruby sword does 20, kyanite, I think I've said that right, does 9 attack damage, tiger eye does 12. You can get this from a certain dimensions. There are also dimensions in this, which we'll be showing in a later video. And also pink tourmalia sword with 11 attack damage, also from a different dimension. And the crystal wood sword is also from a different dimension. And the big hammer, well, it's just a big hammer.
Ow! Ow!
So that's all. So a big hammer, 1 hits a slime. It's pretty good. Come here, fairy. Yeah, so iron golem, amethyst doing 15 attack damage. Kills them pretty quickly, but if you're in survival and it's attacking you, you're not going to last super long. You might last if you're lucky, but you're not going to last long. So if I just go into F5 now, and I'll just quickly scroll through what all of these look like in your hand, and then the big hammer. Well, not the big hammer. Well, yeah, it's called the big hammer. Facepalm. And there we go. So now, moving on, we're going to go to the ultimate bow, skate string bow, and these two are extremely both powerful. The skate string bow you can get from a certain dimension. The one is the same as the crystal wood and what. So it's pretty powerful. You can shoot stuff like a normal bow. Looks good in your hand. And that's it. So then that's all the skate string bow does. But the ultimate bow, however, I'm just going to turn away and shoot one arrow. So it enchants it. Power, flame, punch 2 and infinity 1. But you can also spam right click. So I'm spamming and you can see how far this is going. So that's why it's called the ultimate bow. Because you can spam your arrows. So let's see how many arrows we just shot. So you can see we shot all of these arrows in that amount of time that I was just explaining this to you. So it can also, if you fully charge it, it will go a very long way. So very powerful and very good if you're fighting a boss. So if we come back now, final weapons are my absolute favourite. Squidzuka, Thunderstaff and a freaking ray gun. So first on, ray gun, you right click, it shoots a little orb and it blows stuff up. Requires laser eyes, I believe, as ammo. Next one is the Thunderstaff. You hold right click and it spawns some lightning and also does an explosion. So if you were to spam this, it's also a really good way of getting around because you can just boost yourself in any direction. Next thing is my final favourite. This is the Squidzuka, which looks absolutely massive. And you right click and they spawn attack squids. So they're your attacking squids. So they will target stuff and attack stuff. Except they will attack you, I believe. Doesn't do any explosive damage, but they will die after a bit because they are squids, which means they're meant to be in water. So I'm just going to scroll through in F5 now. So this is what that looks like. This is what the Thunderstaff looks like, quite tiny. And then the freaking ray gun looks like that. So then, calming down, I put those away. That is it for the weapons. And then, moving on, we are going to go onto the armour. So, ultimate armour, pretty powerful. You're not going to die anytime soon. It doesn't give you any extra health or anything. But it looks good, and it's pretty handy if you're just starting off and you have the correct resources, which you can easily Google. So that is it for the ultimate armour. I'm going to get rid of this as we go. And then next thing is the lava eel. This is a mob, I believe. Lava eel. Yep, lava eel. You can eat it. It's a type of food. I don't know how you get it exactly, but I think you just find it somewhere, someplace. So in F5, it looks pretty good. Nothing else really to it. So then, moving on. Next thing we have is the moth scale armor. So, oh, whoops. So, moth scale armor. And the reason it also enchants itself, depending on the armor, some pieces of armor enchant themselves automatically. So it looks pretty sick. You got some things for it. This is it. It's got some. I'm just going to scroll over now so you can pause the video and look at the specs on the enchants. And then moving on, next thing we have is the emerald armor. This doesn't have enchantments, so you'd have to enchant it yourself if you needed to. So it's quite cool. It's almost like a camouflage thing. It might be handy if you're going to be blending in, if you're going against a friend or something. But that is all it does. No enchants, no nothing. So the next thing is the experience armor. If you're in survival, gradually over time it will give you experience. Especially if you have the experience sword as well. And this is the only crafting recipe that I can actually remember for the Orespawn mod. And that is, you take emerald armor and you surround it with experience bottles. And then that's how you get experience armor. And that's it. So I'm just going over the enchants now. You can see all of those. Pause the video if you want to look at those. And then next thing is ruby armor. This isn't enchanted either. Looks pretty good. You can get it's ruby is an ore in the Orespawn mod, so you can go and get that when you want it. So that is all for that. Last 3 is tiger eye, amethyst, and pink tourmalia. So amethyst, pretty powerful, no enchantments. And then, like ruby, I think it might be slightly stronger though. Don't know for certain, but that's it. So I'm going to take this off now. Next thing is tiger eye. So this looks pretty cool. It's almost like you're wearing something see-through. So you get this from a certain dimension. You find it in dungeons and stuff, because there are boss dungeons in this that spawn randomly that you can go and fight, and then you can win stuff like the weapons and stuff like that. So if we take these off, there's now a pink tourmalia armour. This is also the same from the same dimension, and that all it does is look cool and protect you, obviously. So that's going to be it for the first half of the armour. So there is another part as well. So we're going on to something called the peacock armour. So this is like the skate string bow. Pretty cool. I don't know why it's aiming it like that, but you have to deal with it. But yeah, so skate string bow, pretty powerful, and the armour looks cool as well. And it also gives you feather falling 10, the boots do. So next thing we have is Mobzilla. Mobzilla is a mob you can spawn in, but is extremely powerful. So running my mouse over the enchants right now, you can pause the video and look at those. There you go. So now we have Mobzilla. So Mobzilla, I won't spawn him in, but Mobzilla, when spawned in, turns everything to dirt, like all these grass blocks would now be dirt, flattens terrain, and does loads of damage, and will also destroy blocks. So make sure if you do fight him, you have really powerful stuff so you can actually kill him. And there's also something, next armour is, after the Mobzilla armour, is called the Royal Guardian armour, but I'm going to come to that because this is the best, that's the best armour in the game. So lapis armour doesn't really do much, just looks cool, and that's about it. Doesn't really do anything else other than that. So as far as I know, if there is, comment down below and tell me. So I'm just running my mouse over so you can see the enchants if you want to pause the video and look at those. And then second to final armour is the Queen Scale armour. This is fought from a boss called the Queen. She drops something called the princess. Spawn prince and princess. Those will fight for you if you tame them. I believe it's food to tame them, or it might be a diamond. But one thing I found is if we get prince, we spawn ourselves a prince. They now love us. Now if we get a diamond block and right click, come here. Come on. Hey, hey, hey. Really? They now become much bigger, and then we can fly them. And we can get them to throw their... They're now going to fly for us. And we're controlling them, so if we want to go a certain way, we can control them to do that. And I think we might be hurting them slightly. But anyway, that is how you do it. And then what we're going to get is you're going to get a diamond. And then this is only some of the things you can do in the mod. And then that turns him back into his little prince. And then that'll stay with you until he dies. So that isn't anything to do with the Queen Scale armour. I just thought I'd show you that, because this is from a boss called the Queen, and the Queen drops the spawn eggs for those. Yes, you can get spawn eggs in these. And then final armour, which we're going to demonstrate, is called the Royal Guardian armour. So this stuff is absolutely insane. So if we were to go get ourselves the Royal Guardian sword, we're absolutely overpowered. So if you guys didn't know, if you fly up and then you stop flying, you actually just float to the ground. So you can see I'm moving slightly. If you can see, I'm going down ever so slightly, and nothing could be done with shift. So you're going to float down, and if you take off the boots, then you're going to fall, but that's what the Royal Guardian armour does. So it's you're never going to die to fall damage. When people wear this, sometimes they'll wear it like that, and then they'll just stick it on when they need it. And other than that, then yeah. But anyway guys, that is going to conclude the end of this video, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, be sure to subscribe down below to our channel, the SAS Brothers. Please do it, we're just starting. We are going to conquer and become. We don't stop believing, guys. Just don't. So that's going to be the end of this video. Like, share and subscribe this video. But anyway guys, I'm SAS2. This was the Orespawn mod review. Goodbye!